Start clapping right now. Start clapping for Josh Johnson, y'all. Let him hear it.
I've been genuinely obsessed since I saw it from the moment that it happened. You know, it was around Thanksgiving, and what a thing to be thankful for. Wow. I can't stop reading Drake's filing. Drake's court filing, suing UMG. I mean, Drake suing UMG, Spotify, I think iHeartRadio, yeah. Like, he's suing everybody but Kendrick. Like, all right. In case you don't know, because I don't expect everybody to just know everything I'm talking about all the time. In case you don't know, Kendrick Lamar is a rapper. He's a phenomenal rapper. You know, some are saying the best to ever do it, right? There are a lot of people that, yeah, except Drake, yeah. Kendrick Lamar is absolutely killing it right now, and he was in a beef with Drake. Now, if you don't know, Drake was a rapper. He was a rapper until Kendrick Lamar rapped while he was rapping, and then they did it at each other, and it did not go well for Drake. Now Drake is suing, and it's such a thing to take apart because it's genuinely complicated, right? Like not just the suit, but the reasoning for the suit, and like who would actually be in like a bad position, you know? A lot of this, weirdly enough, if you go all the way back, starts with Kanye, now known as Ye, right? Now, during his Life of Pablo tour, Ye went on this rant. Now, Ye became known for rants. That was like a thing as far back as the Yeezus tour. Probably started, I actually think it started when he was touring 808 and Heartbreak, where just mid-concert, instead of an intermission, he would go on a wild rant, right? Like, and sometimes the rants would have some genuine little nuggets in them of like, oh, that's an inspiring thing that he said. I'm gonna hold on to that. And then sometimes it would be full of things where you were like, does he know? But he's all right. And in one of these rants that became like part of going to the concert, what's Kanye going to talk about? What's he going to go off on and everything? During Life of Pablo, Ye does this thing where he's like, radio lied to you, right? Now, Ye is probably one of the most imperfect messengers of our time. Like, it's sometimes, hear me out, once in a while, sometimes he has something to say that has genuine value in the industry. There are things that he says that are inspiring to anyone who takes inspiration from it, right? And there are some times where he's like so unclear, but he's like about to get there, right? And this was one of those moments, because what he was basically saying was that Drake and some of these artists, they were being artificially pumped up. They were being force-fed to us. We could not get away from them. And he took issue with it because he was like, look, you're being lied to. Something is being sold to you that is not genuine. Something is being sold to you that is completely artificial. It's a machine built by an industry to take your money. The thing that you're being sold has no soul to it. There's no artistry to it. It's just like a complex compound to take as much money from you as possible, maybe to give you the feeling of something genuine, but it's not there. I promise you. It's all been talked about behind closed doors. They've all come up with a plan to take as much of your money as possible, to take as much of your attention as possible, and to have you feeling like you're connected to some of the most hollow people who have ever lived, right? But instead of saying that, he goes, radio lied to you. So understandably, in the moment, people didn't quite understand what he was trying to say. You know? And then there's another interview more recently during the beef when it started where, you know, Ye basically says he was, and it's something that a lot of Drake stans brought up, where he was like, a lot of us involved were just so excited about the destruction of Drake, you know? And they were excited because, depending on who you talk to, Drake been a menace for a minute. Like, Drake has been sleeping with people's very significant others. You know, he's been doing like shady stuff. There's people who've worked on projects with Drake, and then he went ahead and even though he worked on the project with them and was happy to collab and everything, releases a project that's kind of like theirs right before, just to. There's things he's being accused of that are like, none of it is illegal, but a lot of it is terrible, right? And so, you know, Ye had his own issue with him, Drake, Kardashians, all that stuff. And so he was like, what people don't understand about Drake is that he has a rich baby daddy named Lucian, and Lucian was the top of UMG. And so now at the top of UMG, you have someone pushing Drake nonstop. And if you heard Scorpion, I don't know how you missed it, but it was the most pushed album maybe of all time. Basically, if you got on Spotify, there were people that sued Spotify because they were like, everywhere I go is Drake. I can't click away from Drake. He's coming up on playlists that have nothing to do with him just to push Drake. You will literally type in, look, I'm looking for like a little gym bob to get like some exercise too, but I really want it to be mellow, like a little Regina Spektor or something like that, but a little bit more tempo than like a Regina Spektor. And then Spotify would be like, do you mean Drake and braids? Like, you know, you'd be like, I want some hard rock, like something classic, something that is maybe like hair metal, you know, like some of that glam punk to it and everything. And then Spotify would be like, do you mean Drake making a mean face? And you know, he files these lawsuits, and the internet comes for him. They come for him in a way that I thought the beef was bad, but the way that the internet came for this man when he sued, they were calling him Aubrey Graham Cracker. They were quoting lyrics from him. It was I don't know, it was kind of hard to watch. Like I don't even like Drake, and I was like, man, this is a lot. This is, you know, but he sues, and I think a lot of people don't understand what the defamation suit is about. Very quickly, basically, he sues first UMG for what he's saying is botting Kendrick, making it so that Kendrick's song Not Like Us is more successful than it actually should have been, right? Making it more popular through bots and through like manipulation because they made it cheaper for it to get streams, which means more people would play it and stuff like that. They lifted some of the copyright so more people would do reviews of it and stuff. And then he sues for defamation, right? And the defamation is still, once again, this is a petition. This isn't like a full-on lawsuit for damages, but it's basically saying that UMG shouldn't have let Kendrick release Not Like Us because of what it said in there about Drake and them knowing that it was false, right? And this is my thing about that. It's weird that he that he sued for Not Like Us but not Meet the Grams, which was so much worse. If you don't know, there's a song called Meet the Grams where like Kendrick talked to his whole family, talked to his son. It was everyone. That's defamation. I felt like he was defamed, as in less famous right then. Like it's kind of wild, you know? But here's the thing. This is why some people are on Drake's side. And I'm not just talking about Drake's stans, right? What he is alleging is that basically UMG, who he's been in this contract with, he got a $400 million contract from them in the earlier part of the 2020s, right? And he made the money back so fast they start renegotiating again. And if you make $400 million back quickly, they probably gonna need to pay you $600 maybe 800, who knows? And that $400 million contract was the biggest contract in music history, right? And so now he's taking these people to task in a way and at a time that is scary for the music industry. You know, music industry is losing market share day by day. I'm a firm believer that no matter what music you like, I don't care what it is, I don't care what genre, you personally, you have not met your favorite artist yet.
That's true.
You haven't met your favorite artist at all. You have to keep listening. You have to keep looking. Your favorite artist is out there and they're trying to get to you, but there's a machine in the way, right? And so the same machine that built Drake up is the machine that is genuinely in the way of artists who are trying to get to you to be your favorite. Because you already have this connection. You just haven't heard their music yet, but it's coming. Right? You just have to keep looking. And it's hard to look right now because of basically what Drake is alleging, that UMG, some of these big ones, they use payola, they use all these things to make sure that their artists are the only artists that you hear, so that your favorite is the best of what's been presented to you, right? And it's a tough thing because to call UMG out for it, for Kendrick, without acknowledging that it
Happened to you. Right.
like you know because you were yeah, I mean, like that's a tough one. That's yeah, I mean, that would be like somebody at Goldman Sachs being like, they stealing all your money. I'm like, yeah, okay, all right, I believe you, but weren't you an executive? Yeah, but I'm suing because they stole from me too. They have no scruples at all. They'll steal from anybody. This is unacceptable. You know? And so what Drake is basically alleging is that through the beef they had with Kendrick, UMG actually picked Kendrick and they built him up as much as possible to tear Drake down so that when he came back to the table and he was going to ask for more than his $400 million, they could look him in his eye and say, your stock has gone down. You're not what you used to be. You can't sell the same tickets. You don't get the same streams. How about we give you $350? And it's a lot. It's not the same. It's not the same at all. But it's something similar. I see a lot of what is happening with Drake right now, at least in regards with UMG. Just, I'm talking specifically on this part of the suit, not the defamation, anything. I'm talking about the way that he's in a negotiation with UMG while something else is going on in his life, and it's hindering that negotiation, right? It reminds me of something that happened with Michael Jackson, because Michael Jackson got so powerful with Sony that he both found out and then accused publicly his lawyers and Sony of working together because he was becoming too powerful. He was owning too much. He was owning too much music. This man had the rights to the Beatles. Like, that's crazy. And so he said, you know, Sony is trying to hurt me because they're not promoting my album in an era that didn't have streaming in that way. They botched my album just to try to get things from me that are mine, you know? And it's similar to Drake in a way because both of them were the biggest artists at the time. Biggest artists in the world, right? And they're both like... Just hear me out. They were both... Listen. They're both black men that everyone called white, right? And I think that some of that, a part of that, is definitely present in people's feelings on the suit, right? Because there are some people that obviously think it's funny. I kind of think it's funny, you know what I mean? But then there are people who I've heard from and who I genuinely agree with that you can't get away from the fact. You cannot get away from the fact that these two individuals, even though their suits are not the same, even though their situations are not the same, these are two individuals who built themselves up to be the biggest in the world. And when it came time for a company to pay them, maybe they did whatever they had to do to not have to do that. Now, I don't believe, personally, the botting thing, because people genuinely were dancing to Not Like Us. People were genuinely losing their minds to Not Like Us. Like, I guess I believe the bot angle that Drake has if he thinks all black people were bots. Like, that's kind of what it would take. You know bots. You know how. You know how bots be. And look, when it comes to the bot thing, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've done a version of what Drake is doing in my head, just personally, because bots are all around us, and they're actually one of the reasons we fight so much. You think that everyone disagrees with you online. I'm not saying everyone agrees, but not everyone has the vitriol waiting for you, that it feels like it. We found that a lot of some of the nastiest things that get said online are bots from other countries just to stir people up, you know? And the bot has no investment in whether or not you actually get outraged, but it's just rage bait that's literally made to whether it's to keep you on an app or to distract you. Bots are everywhere, right? And I sometimes take that to my emotional advantage. You know? Like if I get into an argument with somebody online and they make a good point, I'm like, that's a damn bot right there. That's like I used to be on the apps back in the day, and you know I would sometimes meet somebody, chat with them a while, then go on a date and everything. Maybe the date wouldn't work out, but I didn't get their number, and so I messaged them again on the app, and they don't respond. Like they ghost me, and I'm like, that damn bot's something else. These bots are out here wilding, right? Like, you know. I remember I got to argue with my mom, and she was making some really good points, and she was really like letting me know that she was disappointed in my actions and everything, and really told me why. Broke it down how she didn't raise me to act the way I had been acted and stuff like that. And I went ahead and typed in the text because I saw the text bubbling and everything, and I knew more was coming. And I was like, look, I'm gonna have to cut this bot off. Like this. Don't have time for bots. There's a good tactic to take. Anything in your life not going the way you want, call it a bot. And I read and I talked to people as much as I could when the beef was going down. And I talked to Kendrick stans, I talked to Drake stans, I talked to people who did not listen to hip hop at all, who really didn't have a stake in the race at all. And there were people that were saying like, oh man, the only reason Kendrick stopped dropping diss tracks is because he was scared Drake was gonna hurt himself. Then I talked to people that were like, no, Drake dropped last, so the ball is in Kendrick's court, right? I heard delusional takes, I heard erratic takes, I heard takes that were just sort of blah, whatever. It's two grown men rhyming at each other, I don't care. Like, I heard it all. What I did not hear from Drake stans or hip-hop fans at all, the entire beef was, he should sue. That smells like a lawsuit. Never came out of anybody's mouth, right? And so understandably, there are people that are upset with Drake for suing because it's like, wow, if you sue and then you win, what does that do to battle rap? What does that do to hip-hop? Hip-hop literally has artists talking about other artists being like, I'm going to sleep with your baby mama. Will they still do that if that person can sue for damages? There's something that is that's like linked, that can't be broken about hip hop and a sort of distance from power, right? Like if you're in the streets or if you are street, you're not supposed to be in court unless they catch you. You're not supposed to. You see what I mean? It just feels a lot to me. Everything that's happening right now between Drake, Kendrick, and UMG feels a lot like what happened between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury in boxing, right? Because you look at Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, two heavyweights. In case you've never watched boxing, I'll make it very simple for you. two heavyweights in the world that were number one and number two, right? And we rarely get that in a lifetime, that the best in the world is fighting the second best in the world. And Tyson Fury is a world-class boxer, and Deontay Wilder hits really hard, okay? He's not quite as good of a boxer as Tyson, but he hits so hard, you think that he must knock the soul out of people, right? And so, sure enough, they fight. And in the first fight, Deontay Wilder knocks down Tyson Fury in like such devastating fashion that when he hit the ground, personally, so he got knocked out for a second with his eyes open, and I thought he was dead. I was sure I had seen something terrible. Like I was sitting there just looking around, even though I knew I was the only one in the room. And Tyson Fury had been through a lot. He had battled his way back from addiction, from some serious mental health issues. He talked about wanting to take his life and everything. And this man gets knocked down by Deontay Wilder in one of the later rounds. Even though he had been putting in good work the entire fight, this punch came out of nowhere and it knocks him down. And then out of nowhere, he blinks. And a part of me was like, he might still be dead. That's a reflex. I've heard of dead people blinking. That doesn't... And then he blinks again, and then he gets up, and he gets up all at once, just sort of rolls himself up and stands up, and the world is shocked. It's one of the biggest moments that year in sports. How did this dude get up? That feels impossible, right? This man sits up, stands up, and even Deontay Wilder is like, I thought you were dead. Deontay, like, he wasn't on camera in this moment from this angle, but he was probably looking at his fist like, I thought I killed him. That's okay. And they finished the fight, and the fight is a draw, and a lot of people thought that Tyson won the fight. And a lot of people said that it was a draw because boxing is rigged and it's corrupt and everything like that. I'm willing to believe both those things, but basically they did have to fight again because it was a draw. So neither one of them had lost their O yet, right? Second fight, Deontay Wilder shows up ready. And in his mind, he's like, I almost killed this dude the first time. So I'm gonna knock him out this time. It's gonna be simple. It's gonna be easy. I'm gonna get right to it. Right? I actually gave him a little too much respect. I backed up a little bit. Go in. Right? And Tyson Fury beats Deontay Wilder, and beats him pretty bad. And I kind of thought he might beat him because I saw the documentary and the lead up, and there were people talking about like, oh, you know, Deontay's been knocking out his training partners when they're just holding the pads and stuff. And I'm like, that sound like he doesn't have aim. That's... You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a boxer, but if somebody holding the pad here and you knock that man out, you missed. So, you know, Deontay Wilder gets beat in that second fight. They throw in the towel and everything. And Deontay cannot accept that he lost the fight. He actually cannot accept it. He literally says, like, no, he must have cheated then. Because I almost killed this dude. This dude must have cheated. And he takes him on this long campaign. They try to investigate him, everything. They even pull out a clause where they have to do a third fight, even though Tyson wants to go and fight someone else now, and he goes on a whole campaign where he's like, no, this guy cheated. He must have cheated if he beat me because I had him. This dude, we thought he was dead. I had this dude, and then he just beats me like that. There had to have been something. Maybe he had brass knuckles in his glove. There were all of these theories going around, even in the boxing world and stuff. And that's what happened to Drake. Drake didn't believe Kendrick could beat him. He was like, no, too many people on my side. I'm too popular. I'm too big. I'm genuinely too big to fail. He thought, even though he was going into contract renegotiations with UMG, let me go ahead and have the sparring session with Kendrick. Number one, number two, going at it. It's going to get a ton of buzz. And then after I beat this dude, I'll be able to come to the table and be like, pay me my $800 million. Because I just took out supposedly the best rapper, right? And then it didn't happen that way. And so now he's saying you must have cheated. There's no way, you know? And this is a genuine mistake. Because now, if this actually follows all the way through and goes from a petition into a lawsuit, Not Like Us is going to go into public court records. A stenographer is going to have to type out the lyrics to Not Like Us. I don't think he thought it through. Do you know what I mean? Because, and this, look, maybe this is me being a hater. This is me making some assumptions. I'm just throwing it out there. This is what I think. I think genuinely that Drake's lawyer is definitely white. And so now I'm worried for Drake's lawyer that he's going to be in a predicament where he has to defend his client from the and then read out the lyrics to Not Like Us. Now look, rap lyrics in court is nothing new. Rap lyrics get used to, send rappers to jail. It gets used against them and get in all these different ways. It's nothing new. But whenever you're in court and you got to read the lyrics, usually court likes to still keep things proper. So they'll probably do some replacements. You know what I mean? Like, I think when Drake's lawyer gets to the end where he's going to have to be creative. He's going to have a different word in there. Probably something like, gentlemen. He's going to be standing there having to read the lyrics to make his point. He's going to be standing in front of maybe a jury. Who knows, right? He's standing there. Okay. They tell me Chubb's the only one that get your hand-me-downs. Party at the party playing with his nose now. And Baca got a weird case. Why is he around? Certified lover boy. Certified. Your Honor. Wop, 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 wop. Dot, F them up. Wop, 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 wop. I'm gonna do my stuff. Why you trolling like a female dog? Ain't you tired? Trying to strike a chord. And that's a lot of O's. And it's probably I'll try. A. Minor. I'm sorry, I'll do one quick correction here. They're missing apostrophe R-E here. They're not like us. They're not like us. They're not, actually, I'll just take away the contract. They are not like us. They are not like us. They are not like us. No. It's brutal. It's absolutely brutal, And I'm torn because there's things in this suit that if it goes through, if they can prove that UMG and even some of the other big labels are still using payola, maybe they have to do such a big payout that they make it not worth it to do it again. That's a genuine hope that I have. Or maybe the government can look at these labels, look how much power they have, and It's unlikely, but break them up a bit, right? They're already losing market share with us, the people. They already don't have the power that they used to have, right? No matter how much they push, no matter how much they repeat, sometimes it just doesn't work. Because we know they're doing it, by the way. We already know they're doing it because we know when we look at charts and they're like, this is the top artist. And we're like, who? I've never heard of this person at all. Do you, I guess. You know? So if the structure came tumbling down, that would help the little guy, the new artist. The artist has been trying this whole time to break through. Reminds me of the story of Samson, right? Make it very short. Samson was very strong, loses his strength, and then becomes enslaved by the Philistines. And then while he's between two pillars, he begs God, give me my strength back. Give me my strength back so I can take revenge on the Philistines. And God gives him his strength back just for that little bit of time, just for that time that it took to push the pillars, crack them, break it down, and bring it down on him and the Philistines. And I think that's what could be happening here. You know, because I don't know how Drake moves on from this at all, whether he wins or he loses. But I know that he might be able to bring the structure down with him, on him, right? And there is a genuine part of me that's split because I don't think that the bots thing happened in that way. I'm sure that generally it happens with every big artist. I will say that. I think no matter who you are, there's probably bots pushing, pulling, whatever. I don't think it's enough to make someone number one, but I do think that it must just happen, right? But the part that I can't get over is that, like, as much as I don't like Drake, that's a black man trying to get paid what he's worth. You know, he made that money back for them. They should pay him. They do owe him. And I don't think they used Kendrick. I think Kendrick is not only an incredible artist, but he was at the right place at the right time. I think if this beef had happened in any other time, maybe it wouldn't have gone the way that it went. I think Kendrick is smart with his timing. He's obviously brilliant with his music. And I think that he knew this is it, right? You speak on me, I speak on you. But even Kendrick said in Euphoria, still love when you see success, right? His rival, this person he can't stand. So even Kendrick, to some degree, probably thinks, I hate you. Don't get me wrong. If you fail right now, that'd be hilarious. Like, I hate you. But also, you made them that money. You know? Because there's no real proof, which I think actually hurts Drake's case. There's no real proof that he is not going to make a comeback because he's still one of the number one trending artists without releasing an album this year, even as he lost all that stock. And the stock he can get back quickly. I'll tell you how. I don't know if he'll be able to do it, but all he has to do is be like, y'all, look, y'all, could be an Instagram story. He loves that. Instagram story where he comes to us, the people, and he just says, look, y'all, all right, maybe this isn't the way. He got me. All right, I got God. But you know what? I got something for you, my fans. I have new music coming, and I hope you love it. That's it. Let it go. You know what I mean? You got God. This stuff is way weirder. You're clearly spinning out. If anything, it makes me more afraid of Kendrick because you gotta remember first lines of Euphoria. Superpowers getting neutralized. Famous actor once knew was looking paranoid. Now he's spiraling. Who lets you sue as a rapper? You gotta be spiraling to do it. That's like being a bona fide gangster and getting shot and then being like, police! You know? I don't know. I think that, you know, Kendrick caused a full release of the culture. of the movement. People are excited, revitalizing hip hop. There's a chance that with this suit, if he wins, if he follows it all the way through and he wins, that Drake could loose the people from the industry in a small way. And there's a chance that you could get to meet your favorite artist. You know? I guess I'll just end it most appropriately with a line from J. Cole. I love to see a black man get paid.
Give it up for Josh Johnson!
I have a hard time sometimes checking back in with someone who I haven't talked to in a long time. There are some people you can pick up where you left off perfectly. Like, perfectly. Like, even when you call them, you're like, as I was saying. It's been 4 years, but you remember where you left off. And then there's other people where it's like, you got to find your footing again. You know? And it's really difficult, at least in the way that we've structured things right now, for men to have very close, intimate friendships with other men. And it's tough because people talk about this epidemic of male loneliness. I'd like to get to the bottom of why men are lonely, because there are men everywhere. It's kind of crazy that there's millions of men and they're all lonely. It seems like they should meet the men that are also lonely. It's a lot of men to be lonely. Imagine 100 million people feel by themselves. Seems fixable. One would hope. But some of it is just like the way that men make friends. There are very few, especially you're talking about your intimate, your strong friendships. There's very few categories and very few ways to go down that road with another man. It's usually one of a few things. Your best friend as a man is usually one related to you, maybe. That's my brother. Didn't even need to make a friend. My parents made him for me. So we sort of rolled together since we were little, because, you know, he was right there. So how you gonna not? That's like when people like hate their brothers, I'm like, oh, he must have put some work in then, because by default, y'all should have been at least chilling. And then there are men who become intense friends through a shared trauma, like a war buddy. Like you may not have even been compatible in the outside world, but you went through something that was so distinct to your experience that the only other person that gets it covers so much ground for you that now y'all can be best friends because you went through this thing together. And then the third way is kind of like the brother thing. You just known each other for a long time. I mean, we took civics class together, and that was that. I don't get out much. And even within your friendship, because this is the thing about real loneliness. You don't have to have no friends to be lonely. You can be lonely within the relationships that you have. It's about letting people in, and it's hard as guys for us to really let someone in, because there's a thing that we're battling all the time. Some of it's social, some of it's like learned, it's conditioned, and then some of it is not knowing how to express the stuff that's inside. So you're in a really tense place as a guy sometimes, and any little thing can knock you off of a good track you have with a friend. Like a hug. It's a dangerous thing. Hugging as a man. Going in too quick. Looking a little thirsty. We gotta be really specific about our hugs as men, you know? It's on the top of mind, even if you don't think it is. It's surface level, but it's top of mind. You get a weird hug from a friend, it could change your whole relationship. You know? And most of it is like learned over time. As a baseline, you're good to go, right? Especially if you go in for that one palm first, boom, right here, bring it in, very manly. You know, bow, bow, you know, you bang shoulders together. Whoever shoulder breaks first loses. That's my boy, bow, bow, right? You want to make it extra painful, you go in with the other hand. Bow, bow, bow. I remember one time I went in, you know, hugged my buddy, hands out, bow. Good loud clap too, real manly stuff. People that we didn't know heard that pop from across the room. Pow! Went in for the hug, boom. Messed up both our shoulders. And if I'm being honest, it all went awry at the end because I don't know where his mind was at. But, you know, he went to, you know, close it off, last hand on the back. But for some reason, it was a little low, like. Just so you understand what I went through. We were going in for the hug, bow. I bring it in, bow. He comes around. Mid-hug, I'm like, sir. He immediately like, yeah, my bad, dog. I didn't mean to, yeah, no, it was great, you know, wind. And depend on who you are and who it happens with could knock the whole friendship out of whack forever. That's how delicate it is. Oh. And it's tough sometimes, tough to make friends as a man. Like even if you really rock with somebody, you really respect them, you really admire them, and you might even tell them so, but you don't know how to cross over that next level to really be a friend. You know? And because it's not often communicated, a lot of men don't know they have friends. You have people that you're cool with. But then, if somebody asks them and somebody asks you, you're both like, yeah, I guess we're friends. I mean, yeah, he cool. Like, what'd he say about me? Like, no, like, he cool. Like, I mean, like, I like Buddy. Like, he cool and everything. And I'm sure he think I'm cool. But, like, I think we're friends. But it's also cool if we not. Like, if we're not friends at all. Like, I don't care. We could be enemies for all I care. Like, let's get it. No, it's true. And then, you know, sometimes you don't realize how hard it is to make friends until you look around and you're like, oh, I don't feel like I have many. It's a thing that can happen subtly. You know, it's not It's not something that comes all at once. You look around and you're like, oh, who would I really call if I was in trouble? Maybe just a few people, maybe genuinely. There's no one you feel comfortable making that call to, you know? And so you want to make friends, but it's tough to go out there and try to make friends as a man sometimes. And it doesn't have to be, but just think about it. Like, dudes always act like they don't know what they mean when a woman is like freaked out by a guy coming on too strong, but let a man just try to be your friend. As a man, walk up to another man and be like, I like your jeans. See how it goes. I'm sure it'll be fantastic. You know what I mean? But that's my thing. That's my thing, is that we're in a place now where, for the most part, it doesn't have to be this hard. We have online friendships. We have friendships that we can make in person. There's no reason for people to feel lonely. And women try to help. They do. You ever had your girlfriend try to make you some friends? It's one of the most demoralizing. It's one thing when you little. When you're like a little kid and you're weird. Like, I was weird and I was a little kid and my mom was like, let me get him some help. Let me find some other weirdos. They can be weird together. It becomes very different when you're like 30. And someone who has made the choice to love you slowly starts trying to set you up with just any other man, so you have someone to talk to besides her. Which is just like so fundamentally what it is. Like, it's just sadly a woman who's like, I can't hear everything. Some of this gotta be for the locker room, please. Men are out here so lonely. We got women trying to set us up for locker room talk just so it won't be talked to them for like an hour. And getting set up on like a boyfriend play date is one of the saddest experiences, because as men, you both know why you there. You both sitting here now, knowing why you here, and both y'all acting too good for each other. Like, both y'all sit here like, yeah, you know, the game was crazy last week. I got friends, just so you know. Like, I don't even know why she doing this. Like, yeah, I got people to talk to. And then buddy over here is like, yeah, you know, sports. Yes, the team is doing well, but not as well as we would like. We hope that they will do better, but they have won some games. We hope they win more. Sports. I also got friends. Like, I don't know why my girl, like, I don't know why our girl, when that's just them being obsessed with us when we not around, for her to tell you about me and me about you. You know, there's no need, you know, like, we could just watch the game, you know, together without it being something, being weird or anything. You know? Do you want to watch the game though? Because I think it'd be a good one if you want to. Yeah, no, I'd love to watch the game. I'd love to. This is nice, dog. This is nice. Oh. Because it doesn't have to be this way. Your friendships are incredibly important, and I think seeking them out is a very important business to make in life. Seeking out good friendships, seeking out people that make you a better person. It will make you richer than anything you could have ever imagined, because friends take care of you. There are times where you don't know what's going to happen to you, and there are people who you didn't need to call, you didn't need to ask, they just show up because they care about you. Those things are incredibly important, and a lot of men feel like they're missing in their lives, and is once again wild because there are a lot of men. I feel like we could get to the bottom of it pretty quickly. Just looking around, you know? Because a lot of what makes that loneliness is a cycle. It's a hamster wheel of somewhat our own making. You know, you're on this thing because you don't feel loved and you don't feel lovable. And when you don't feel loved and you don't feel lovable, you usually don't behave in a way that makes you more lovable to people. You usually don't open up. And so you're acting in a way that becomes more antisocial. It pushes more people away. So the people that you would have got just by happenstance, they get pushed away. And then there are actively people in your life that you try to be close to. You push them away as well. And then by the fact that you push so many people away, it reconfirms to you the thing that you told yourself about yourself. And so you just stay on that wheel. And it is simple to get off. It's not easy, but it's simple. You just step off of the wheel and you walk up to a guy that you respect and you say, I like your jeans. Like, it's cool. They're really cool. Like, I don't know, you're like cool. And one of the reasons that is simple but not easy, one of the reasons it's scary to do, is because there seems to be such a lack of accepting that thing, of accepting that love, of accepting someone wanting to be there for you, take care of you and everything. It's very hard to get in. And look, once you're there, you're there. Once you're there, you know, I know a lot of loyal men, and you'll have a friend for life, but there's some walls, you know? Like, one thing that I've seen is a rabbit hole that I've fallen down that I enjoy very much is this trend of men calling to wish their friends good night. And it encapsulates everything that I'm saying. It's one of the most fascinating things to watch. Basically, if you haven't seen this yet, people are recording, usually the girlfriend or wife is recording their husband or boyfriend calling his friends to say goodnight. That's it. That's literally it, and it's one of the most fascinating things you can watch, because there are as many reactions as there are like faces on a diamond. Like you cannot predict what's going to happen, and you will be surprised every single time. Because they'll call, and one of those calls, they answer, "Hey, what's up?" "Nothing. What's up with you, man?" "Oh, not much. You know, I was just calling, about to go to bed and everything, so I just want to wish you good night." The first one I watched, I just want to call and wish you a good night, you know, just have a good night. And the guy was like, "What?" No, I was just saying, call and wish you good night. Like, you know, hope you have a good night too. Sleep tight, dream sweet dreams and everything. What? And this reaction comes because the last time that a man heard those words, he was a boy. And it was his parents. And that's if it ever happened. So a lot of men don't know how to handle it. It's literally like, yeah, I'm just saying, like, sleep tight, you know, night and everything. Huh? Not even kidding. In the call, what are you doing? Nothing. I'm just about to nod off and everything. So saying, have a good night. I'll see you when I see you. Like, I gotta go. Another one of my favorites. Another one that genuinely filled me with joy. This dude called and he was like, "Hey man, how you doing?" "I'm good. How you doing?" Yeah, no, I'm good, man. I'm just about to nod off and everything. So I'm just wanted to wish you good night. Say sleep tight, sweet dreams and everything. Dude on the phone went, "What? Night? What you mean good night?" You would not believe how many men said, "What do you mean good night?" What do you mean good night? He's like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm just about to go to bed, sweet dreams, everything." And he's like, "Yo, you good? Are you good? Dog, for real, are you good?" And for the rest of the phone call, he could not convince his friend he wasn't kidnapped. He's like, "Yeah, dog, no, I'm good, I'm chilling. I'm just, about to nod off. We haven't talked in a while, so I want to say night, wish you sweet dreams and everything." And he's like, oh, they got you? Okay, let me know where you at. Where you at? No, I'm at home. I'm just saying, like, sweet dreams and everything. Like, I hope you sleep well, like, sleep tight and everything. Like, I won't let you die, dog. Where you at? No, I'm right now. Just send me the address. Like, put in code or something. Like, totally different call. This dude called. Wish this dude good night. He was like, "Hey, I just want to say good night. Sleep dreams. Hope you, have a good night and everything." And the dude said, "Huh?" "Yeah, just good night. Hope you have a good night." Yo, what you mean good night?" Like, "I'm just saying good, like, have a good night, like, sleep well." He's like, yeah, whoa, why you calling me telling me that? Like, you call me like I'm like a side chick or something. What you doing? I was like, "No, dog, I just wanted to wish you, a good night. I hope you sleep well, sleep tight and everything." Hey, I really feel like you're being disrespectful right now. And one of the reasons I feel like this is such a phenomenon is because I'm not saying that women even do this all the time, but the way that women are friends with each other has a lot more of these little things in it. It's the little checkups. It's the little, like, how you doing, how you been. It's the little chats that is usually missing in male friendships, which makes a lot of men not really know where they stand with other men. Like, you'll be friends with somebody. You'll be considered a friend by somebody, but you won't be sure. You'll be like, "No, I like him. And we hang out once in a while, but, like, he's like my other friend's brother. So if you ask him, I guess he'd say we're friends, but it's also cool if he doesn't. Like, I don't care. I ain't care. I'm not pressed about that. Like, maybe we friends, maybe we not. I don't know. It's cool either way. If you want to be enemies, we could do that too." Like, because that's the thing. It's just how we show love is very specific. Like, I've watched my girlfriend tell her girlfriends, "Love you." easily. Not another thought. Love you is bye, love you middle conversation, whatever, right? And as men, we rarely say, I love you to other men, especially that we're not related to. And I think it's because, to me, it's just a different style of love. Because a lot of men will not say, I love you to their other friends, to other men. They won't say, I love you. They say it in a different way, because what we value as men is the sort of like loyalty or ride or die level of commitment that we have to each other that stays unspoken. Sometimes you don't even know somebody has it for you until you're in trouble. So as men, we don't really say, I love you to each other like that. You know a man loves you when he says, dog, I'd die for you. Because we really just sort of keep it in life and death. Outside looking in, I'm not saying I know, I'm just saying from what I watch, it seems like women are very excited to give and receive love from each other. And as men, we're very excited to die. Oh, we would love to die together. That'd be preferable. Just let's die together. Yeah, no, we'll ride out right now, dog. Yo. And that's what I saw in that phone call when that dude called his friend. That dude loved him, convinced he was kidnapped. I was like, where you at? Let me know right now. Because so much of it is like about being hard, I suppose. Like as a man, you want to be not just respect, you want to be admired, you want to be hard, and it seems like being hard is the way to get those two things. It was this dude called his buddy, said sweet dreams. He's like, what you mean sweet dreams? What you mean sweet dreams? No, I'm just saying sweet dreams. No, what you mean sweet dreams? I don't have sweet dreams. All right, it's nightmares every day around here. Nobody worried about some sweet dream. What you dreaming about? Shoot, I dream about work. Maybe my favorite one, we're talking like top. One of my favorite ones is this dude calls. Hey, what's up, dog? Oh, I'm good. What's up with you? Nothing. I just wanted to call, say good night, sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite you. Just wanted to wish you a good night, man. He was like, how you know I got bed bugs, dog? Like, I didn't tell anybody about that. What's wrong with you? Why you... Don't be telling people my business, for real. We're talking like top 2-3 videos of the trend. It was this one dude calls his buddy up, and he's already giggling because he knows how his friend's gonna react. Because that's the thing, is that it's so funny how weird people react, because you can tell from the way they pick up the phone that they're close. Who they chose to call for a reason. And half of them, when they pick up, they're being silly anyway, Hey, what's up? If that's how you answer, you can't freak out when someone says good night. And male friendships are so important because at least for the guys that I know, they're some of the only friendships that tether you. They tether you to a way of seeing the world that is unconditional of other things. I'm not saying that when you have when you have female friends or when you're alone, you can't get to the same place you can get with male friends. I just think it's very different. It's very different. Like if you went to one of your female friends after a breakup and, you know, you're telling her what happened, maybe she'll see your perspective, but she probably wasn't going to do the same thing as you were going to do. Whereas if you go to a guy after a breakup and you tell him what happened, one of two things is either going to happen. He's either going to see completely your perspective. Maybe he'll pump you up. Maybe he'll tell you you were wrong. But he's going to see it exactly the way that you see it. Or he's going to be like, dang, I was about to do that same thing. That's good to know. Like I was about to ruin my whole life. Ooh, thank God you did it before me. Okay. Ooh, that's good to know. All right. Because I want that for the men that I see suffering from loneliness. I want them to have friends. Friends would fix the loneliness, and it would heal a big part of this thing that we see en masse from men. When you see a bunch of like angry men, some people are like, all these angry dudes just need a girlfriend. All these like incels just need to get laid. It's like, no, they need friends. like friends. Friends would fix things way more than I think we realize, because sometimes those dudes get a girlfriend. I know it doesn't seem likely, but it's true. No, fundamentally, I'm being serious, it's true. Sometimes the most like weird, nasty posting incel will actually get a girlfriend. And it doesn't necessarily heal everything, because now in their mind they're like, okay, this woman likes me. This woman doesn't think that I'm ugly. But all of these preconceived notions they have about women still remain. Whereas when you have friends, I'm not saying it makes you a wholly better person. It depends on the friends that you keep. You can measure parts of a man by the company that he keeps. But at the same time, when you have a bunch of friends around you, well-rounded friends that can hear what you're saying or can understand where you're coming from and can help guide you down a better path, that makes it better for everyone. You know, some of my best friends have shown me things about myself I wouldn't have caught otherwise. And it's not as if you even need that many. I don't even know if men could handle a lot of friends. We're not good at maintaining relationships in the same way. So 5 is probably enough. Honestly, 5, that 5th one, you're gonna forget his name once in a while. 5 is a lot. A lot of men have one. And once again, it falls into the categories I was talking about before. They have one truly close friend, one truly close male friend, and they either have just known him a long time, or it's their brother, or they went to war together. Yeah? But they have one. So when he dies, that's it. Because you're also his only one. I hope that we can get men to prank each other to the point of good mental health. I hope that it would be so dope if the next level of the prank is just like, hey everybody, I'm gonna go to my buddy's dad's funeral to support him. Let's see what he does. He's there at the funeral. He's like, how you feel, man? How are you doing? His friend's like, how am I doing? What you mean how I'm doing? What you mean how you try to get knocked out? What you mean how I'm doing? Huh? What you mean how I'm doing? What do you mean how I'm doing? What do you mean? And then he cries on his shoulder, and that's the cry on the shoulder challenge. Like, you just have to ask how a man is doing over and over until he answers. And then he really needed that. It's really important. So have a moment together. Just see dudes like, next trend, just. Next trend is just like, you know, like the kitchen challenge where you just like go over to your boy's place and just check his kitchen. Like, is it insane? Is it disgusting? Are there other things living there? I'd love to see, and you know, we as a society will hopefully be around much longer. One day TikTok's gonna be pretty old. I wanna see a TikTok challenge where it's just dudes calling each other out of nowhere, being like, hey, make sure you get your prostate checked, all right? We all 50 and up right now, like, no, look, I'm gonna call him, tell him to check his prostate, see how he react, right? It's like, all right, yeah, because you know we both 55, so it's like that time, you know, you gotta keep up with your health and everything. He freaking out, like, why you worried about my prostate, dog? Like, it's something I hope continues, because I think it's nice. Out of all of like the TikTok trends and YouTube pranks, this is like one that I think is genuinely good. Because you'll see these compilations of them, and then every once in a while you'll get one. This dude called his friend. He was like, "Hey, how you doing?" "I'm good. How are you?" "I'm all right. I was just calling, you know, wish you good night and everything." And his friend was like, "What?" It's like, "Yeah, no, I was just thinking about you, so I want to say good night, sleep tight. You know what I mean? Have sweet dreams and everything." And his buddy was like, "Oh, thank you, man. Nah, I appreciate you, man. You have sweet dreams too, dog." No, that's special.
Hey, brother, I was just calling to say goodnight and hope you sleep well, have sweet dreams and everything. And life is hard, I know, but you always keep your head up. You always make it to the next day. That's all we can do. And I just hope you know that there are people who really do love you, care about you, are thinking about you. And I hope tomorrow's better than today was. Also, I don't want this to disturb your sleep or anything, but they did get me, by the way, the ops. So I don't let it disturb your sleep tonight, but like if there's something you could do, like if you could get over here. I don't know if they want money. I honestly, I am frightened, but you know, I'm gonna keep my head up the way you keep your head up, brother, and you know, we gon' get through it. But anyway, sleep tight, sweet dreams. Night.
Please make it loud for Josh Johnson!
I've been watching a lot of news. Which usually, it's not great. Every once in a while, something will happen that you're like, that's okay. I'll let that slide. It'll be bad news, but it's bad news that you can like live with, you know? Like there's one particular squirrel that's been attacking a bunch of people, and it's like really getting them. It's like the news came. You know how much a squirrel has a scratch? You know how deep it has to get to be newsworthy? Like The news came and interviewed all these people. So far, he's got like 2 victims. Both people were like, he came right at me. But mostly is bad in a bigger way. Do you know what I mean? Like, okay, this is, I guess, what bothers me the most is who they interview as well. When you're watching the news, you end up watching a lot of rich people, but they won't have anything to do with what's happening, really. So why are you asking what he thinks? He does have money, yes, but like he wasn't even there. That's weird. And then sometimes the news will be about them because they're rich and they're moving money around. And we've done a thing now where we've equated being rich with being important. Because obviously money has power, it can bring you influence. But then at a certain point, you have to just accept that, like, yes, they have money, they don't know anything else. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I mean that from a place of like, we have equated having money with being really smart. You must be really smart if you got the money. Because you must be brilliant if you have lots of money, because it's the only way you can get money. Dude, I'm just saying, that's how they teach it. They're like, man, this guy was really smart. He had all the money. I'm sure he came about it by completely legal and ethical means, but like he has all this money. So he's probably really smart. We should just listen to him. And it's like, if that was how you got money, then yes. But it isn't. There's so many different ways to get money. Some people had an idea. They invented something. And then a lot of people were like, that's a great idea. We're glad you invented that. And then they buy so much of it that now this person is rich. Or you write a book. You write a book. You write a book and everyone likes the book, and then you put the book out and then the book is $20, but then like millions of people like it, which is millions of 20s. Even after taxes, that's still millions of 20s. So now you're rich, but you wrote a book. You don't know about anything but the book you wrote. But somehow, every time we watch them in the news, we watch them in culture, we're like listening to them for an opinion that is not the thing that got them rich. Do you know what I mean? And that's something that feels crazier by the day, because crazier and crazier people keep getting rich. Do you know what I mean? Like, here's the thing. Okay, like someone like a William Randolph Hearst, right? Like someone who's like old rich, like black and white rich. Remember that? Just in the no color pictures of them rich. You know what I'm talking about? You can't find a single color picture. If there's them in color, that's AI, because they were before color. So then people who were rich before colors came out, I will extend the olive branch to them that maybe they knew more stuff because they had to know a wide range of things, and there was also less stuff to know in a way. Internet hadn't been invented yet. You could go to the library, but they had whole Dewey Decimal Systems that really just sometimes slowed you down instead of helped you, because then you're like, why am I going by 3.5 instead of just tell me the title? And then they also couldn't look it up like regular, so you had to use the system. They couldn't be like, oh, it's right over there, because the computer said, because computers weren't out yet and you didn't have color. So life was harder. And so I think someone who was very well-rounded and got into business and had a bunch of different businesses could be very smart, could be someone who could answer questions outside of just their field, right? Present day, just present day is harder. It's harder to be smart about everything because everyone has access to almost everything. It also depends on how you made your money. Did you make your money from inventing something? Did you write a book? Did you start a company? And then the company was really successful. So successful, you could buy another company. And then now you have like 3 subsidiary companies under you. They're all doing well. Your big company's doing well. You're very successful. You know what to do when it comes to business. That doesn't mean you know anything about, like, I don't know, the environment. But maybe you made your money millions, maybe even a couple billion, from buying with some starter money, some funding from people. You bought like a pharmaceutical company, and this pharmaceutical company didn't really do anything, and none of the drugs really worked, but you told everybody that they did. You told everybody that they did. You told everybody in a level that kind of made you like a snake oil salesman, like, oh, it's gonna come out soon and it's gonna fix everything. And then people were like, it's gonna fix everything? That's crazy. Almost nobody ever says that, because that's pretty illegal to like tell people something's going to do something, and then that's fraud. So for you to be like doing fraud on the news with your full chest, your company must really do that. And so then you get more investors, you keep doing rounds of, investing, you build up the company, and then it gets to the point where you're like ready to go public with nothing really. You don't even really have a company, and the drugs don't work. But you can either go public and then try to sell the company, you can just try to sell the company outright, and then now you get to leave with the money you made from the company that somebody else bought. You scammed. You were scamming. And some people are very good at scamming. Some people are very smart scammers. Like when you watch the documentary later about their scam, you're like, wow. Wow, incredible. Good scamming. It wasn't my money. Delicious. So some people have scammed their way into millions or billions of dollars. Some people have earned it in the way that you can earn it through creating something that people in the market want. So then that builds the money up. And some people just come from money. Some people already had money, but you just didn't know who they were, because like their parents had sense enough not to try to be famous. So then they passed them a whole bunch of money, and then they showed up one day and they were like, I'm money. And then it's like, oh, okay, did he make all that money to just have money out of nowhere like that? It's like, no, he's actually really rich. And then you get what we have, like I had a friend who was talking to me about Elon and was saying he's like this like super genius. He's like this super nerd genius. And I was like, oh, what makes you say that? Like what, like why would you say that, or something like it? Like what makes you think, like, what makes you think he's a super genius? I'm just curious, right? I wasn't even hating. I was just genuinely like, what makes you say that? And he's like, just, like Tesla and everything that he's trying to do with Mars and stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, plenty of people try to go to Mars. And that's actually pretty common. I know plenty of people who smoke up on a Friday thinking they can make it to Mars. And some of them go. Some of them have been there. I have been in rooms with people so high out of their mind that you're like, you at least at Venus. There is no way. You stopped it. Okay. All right. Oh, it's trying. And trying is important. Everyone, look, if you have a dream, you should try. I want that for everybody. But trying isn't doing. He's not doing Mars. He's trying to go to Mars. He's trying to go to Mars. Also, Tesla, I'm pretty sure he bought that company, so he's smart enough to buy. He's smart enough to, like, use his money to buy something. I don't know if that makes you a super genius. So you can only equate, like, money with wisdom or being intellectual for so long before the bill sort of comes due. If you're so smart, what are you going to do with it? If the answer is just make more money, then like we don't need you. You know what I mean? And I say this because I was watching the news, and I don't even know why this was the B-roll that the news used, but it was a yacht, and I got mad. And I need to be clear here. I didn't get mad because it was like someone had a yacht and I want a yacht. I've joked about wanting a yacht. I don't want a yacht. What would I do with a yacht? Like, what would I even do? You know what I mean? I'm not mad that they had a yacht. I'm mad at the yacht. Do you know what I mean? Look, I don't care if you're rich and then you bought a yacht. I care that the yacht was dumb. This is a dumb yacht. This was, I think it was like $50 million, something like that, but it's $50 million already. $50 million on a boat. That's like technically not a boat, it's a yacht, but it's a boat. It still does boat. It's a boat. You just don't even, it's a boat. You need to be in water for it to do its job. It's a boat. And a $50 million. And then the boat had, the boat had a pool. The yacht had a pool. So you basically spent $50 million on a bucket. It's a bucket. It's a bucket in the water. That's crazy. That's so dumb. That's why you shouldn't have the money. It's not even for like a more. I wish I was coming to you for like a moral reason of like, I can't believe it. I can't believe someone would spend $50 million on a yacht while there are people starving in their country. I'm not even trying to appeal to you like your morality or anything. I'm saying that if you spend $50 million on a boat with a pool in it, you're in the water. You're in the water. The water's here. The water. You're surrounded by water, and you're like, no, but I don't want that water. That's why you should have nothing. Actually, that's why I hope for nothing for you, because to need a pool, you're in the water. If you fell overboard, you'd be able to swim. You want to go for a swim? Just tip over. You'll be swimming. And instead, you had a pool put on a boat. You had a pool installed on a boat. You had different water in your boat with the water surrounded. That is an I don't want to get up to get the remote level of lazy to swim. I could fall overboard and swim and maybe drown, or I could have a pool. I could have a pool and swim in that and maybe drown and maybe and maybe you will and maybe I hope you do. Like it's a pool on a boat. Sounds like a riddle. Why would you? Then swimming in it. Swimming in it. Swimming in it just to get out and be like, oh, I think I'm going to go look at the water. A yacht with an infinity pool on it. A yacht with an infinity pool. You know what else is an infinity pool? You know the original infinity pool? You know the first infinity pool? It was a pool so big, people thought there was an edge and you would fall off. That's how big the actual infinity pool was that you're in right now, but you want it your own. And then on the yacht, this thing will be like $50 million. And then they'll give you a little tour of the yacht. I've watched a tour of a yacht before because sometimes I hate watch things. Because sometimes I have a lot of like hate in my heart, and you would think the only way to get hate out is with love, but sometimes it is with an overwhelming portion of hate. Like when you actually indulge in the hate, and then you have so much hate that it is spilling out of you, and then you look at all the hate on the floor and you're like, that was too much. Let me not do that again. But for the level of hate that I had, I did watch a whole like Lifestyles of Rich and Famous type thing. Let me tour my yacht, right? And so the whole time they were touring the yacht, he was showing me basically an apartment, which is kind of cool. But it's only cool because it's a yacht. If we were on land, you'd be like, oh, you're middle class. Like that's what's so insane about a yacht, is that it's like you get a tour of the yacht, and already there are things that, like, just to be on the yacht make you uncomfortable. So they'll have like 3 tiers, right? And they'll be walking around the boat, and you see even the cameraman trying to follow the rich person trying to tour the yacht. There's not enough room between the rail and the side of the first floor apartment for you to really walk. So now he's over here being like, we got this one in 2015. Cameraman's trying not to fall overboard, and then he takes you inside and he's like, here's the bed, and the bed is like, fine. It's a bed. It's a bed. A bed. It's not mind-blowing. It's not even $50 million worth of bed. It's just a bed with some floor next to it. So far, my mind isn't blown. Nobody's floating. Nobody's like floating in midair and making it look like a experience worth $50 million. And then, you know, they go up to the next level and they're like, oh, and we have a kitchen here. And it's like, the kitchen isn't a kitchen. It's like a kitchenette. Just like as someone who has lived in Brooklyn for a long time, this is my apartment. Maybe that's also why I'm upset. You put my apartment on a boat and then paid $50 million for it, and we're supposed to think that you're smart. No. No. Why? No, like, yeah, I mean, like, it's also like you're giving yourself away. You already are willing to buy a $50 million yacht while there are people struggling in every country in the world. It really doesn't matter where you're from. And I'm not even telling you what to do with your money. I'm just saying, just know that about yourself, that you're willing to buy a $50 million yacht and show it off as people are struggling in your country, whoever you are, whatever country this is. If you know, right? But then to be like, oh no, I'm just gonna be in international waters for like a kitchenette amount of time. All right, that sounds like crime. That sounds like... You kind of admitted to me that whatever you plan to do something illegal. You're like, no, I'm gonna need a lot of supplies and a kitchenette. And I don't even know why I got mad about this, but they had a shower, but the shower wasn't like a shower. It wasn't, you know what I mean? Like, you've been in a nice hotel room with a shower, and you've been like, oh, this is great. And you could, the shower looked a little like prison. You know what I mean? Like, I've never been to prison, but I've watched some documentaries. And the shower, just like, because they were trying to make it sound like it had all these features. They were like, you know, you can get the waterfall. There's also, a spout that shoots this way, and then you have the one that's like mounted into the wall that just shoots across. And I'm like, okay, if you say so. But in the world of showers, I've taken a lot of showers in my life, right, every day, and the shower shooting across either screams high school gym or prison. Like, it's... The shower shooting across... Just a perpendicular shower is not luxury. Floor to ceiling glass. And glass as the floor and glass as the ceiling. So you can look down. So you can look down and be like, look at all the fish. Look at all the... What a mind-breaking... Look at all the fish that are passing by. It's like an aquarium. It's like my aquarium. I guess the world is like my aquarium. It's like, no, you're in the aquarium, you idiot. You're the one. You're actually the one that's boxed in. You moron. You're the one that's in the glass. How does that appeal to you? You're the glass. Like, you're the fish. You're the fish. You are the fish. The fish are swimming by like, what is... Oh, wow, I didn't know we got a zoo. I had no idea that we had a zoo. You're the fish. That's crazy. Just pour the glass. All glass. And the fish swimming by, wondering, wow, even the fish are like, this is what you do with $50 million. Okay. All right. I mean, live your life, you know. And I think that's also why I got so mad, is because it's like, you bought this $50 million yacht, and you're not just greedy, you wasted it. Do you know what I mean? You're going to spend $50 million, impress me. You know, make me go, wow, yeah, that's definitely better than feeding people. Do you know what I mean? It's $50 million. You should be able to get some dope stuff for $15 million and not just have a Brooklyn apartment on water that's shaped like a bucket. You know what I mean? Just wasted $50 million. All right. I'll let it go. I'll let it go. I'll let it go. I was angry enough about it, and I just needed to let it out. But it's like at $50 million, like just the land, you could buy acres of land. You could own a forest. You could own a forest and everything in it. You could go to a forest that you bought with your millions of dollars and walk right up to Bambi and be like, I own you now. Like that's, you could do that. And instead you're like, no, it's nice to almost drown in a boat. That happened one time. There was a guy who had a yacht, and he had a pool in his yacht, and I don't know if he got like caught cramp or something, but he did like drown in his pool in his yacht. And I read about that, and I was like, and it's probably not a good response to have. That's not nice at all. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do what I did. But the laugh escaped. It wasn't like, I wasn't reading being like, ooh, I hope I see that. I was just reading, and then it was like, oh, and he, oh, okay. Wow. Because it's just, it happened, I think, because we became so genuinely obsessed with money. Like, the U.S., America, we start out as a sort of land of opportunity. People would come here for a fresh start. Usually, it was like a fresh start. It wasn't actually like this land. We have like a money-hungry revisionist history of why people came here. There were people that came here because of religious persecution and for like a fresh start. Because you could get off a boat and just tell them your name was Larry, and they'd be like, all right, and then they'd write it down. There was no, I mean? Like I don't even know if you get that in human history ever again, to just show up and be like, no, I'm Dave. I don't even know who you're. That's how we got like murderers. Like there was a whole theory that like Jack the Ripper may have come to the U.S. That's how fresh of a start you could get. You could flee London after some of the most horrific crimes known to man, show up at Ellis Island, and even say, yeah, I'm Jack. Like, just, you could even tell them that, and they'd be like, all right, good to go. Mr. Rapar? And people would do their best, and people would try to build themselves up in spite of all different types of persecution, because that was a time in America where like white wasn't even white yet. That is crazy, right? White was not, if you were Irish, it was like, you're what? You know what I mean? Like it was, like I've been reading about it in history, Italian, you would be Italian, they'd be like, oh. I don't even know who was white. Looking back at it, it's like, I guess if you were British, but then if you were too British, they were like, I don't think you're loyal to this country. You accent all thick. Just hate. Everybody was hating everybody. Everybody had to build up as best as they could that came here, especially people who came here with nothing, and then they built themselves. And look, this is where we really started to go awry, on top of already like having slavery and stuff like that. We started to build a system where as long as there was someone beneath me, I was like, I'm fine. It started to become more about who's under you than you even doing well for yourself. It's a thing you see echoed today, where there are people who are not doing well, but as long as this person's doing worse, then they're fine, you know? And as you build up, as you have more and more money, as you can pass down more and more money to your kids and everything, as you can one day be so rich that you pass down the money, and then you pass away, and then your kid shows up at the news one day to be like, I'm money. Like that, like, that kind of turned into what the American dream was. It went from like land of opportunity, get a little slice of this place for yourself, really build something, be able to take care of yourself and your family, and it became like, are you rich? People wanted to be rich so bad that we looked at anybody who was rich as wise, that we need to do whatever it is they're doing to get where they are, because I want to be where they are. Never mind the sort of moral character, never mind how they treat people, or even how they got that money. They have $100 million. I want $100 million. I'll do whatever they tell me to do. The type of person that was willing to tell the masses how to get $100 million was not actually telling them that. They were like telling them how to give me $200 million. And I think it doesn't become apparent how crazy that level of wealth is always, because we're used to these people as characters. Right? So like you're used to like a Zuckerberg as an idea of a person, because he is an idea of a person. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, no, look. I'm saying that he is his idea of a person. Like you get, this isn't coming out right. I'm saying that he is doing a perfectly fine first impression of a person. I'm saying, I want you to hear me when I say this. I'm saying that, you know how when your 4-year-old draws you, that's what he's doing as a person. Like he is, as a person, Mark Zuckerberg is being like, hello. That's what people say, right? Hello. And so he has, over $100 billion. And I think we can fathom that money, but we can't. Even when you try to count it, even when people make charts and they're like, guys, a billionaire doesn't even fit on the chart, right? You'll still see someone who is incredibly wealthy, and they only have we know them from being rich, and they only have $500 million. Like that's how crazy it is. It's like they're halfway to 1/100th of where Zuckerberg is. I think that's why I get so frustrated when I see the news, because you're watching the news and you're watching someone like Zuckerberg be on the news, and you're like, why? What could he possibly have to say that should be on the news? And here we're clearly stations are on sides, networks are on sides, right? But no matter what side, they can't just be like, this should never happen. And that's because we let rich people buy up all the news. So now a rich person owns the news. And so even if a journalist, someone who went to school to be a journalist, and someone who would like to tell people the truth as they find it out, they would like to do what they do in France, where in France they're like, this is the news in French. And then they want to do that, but in English for us. And then someone comes up to them right before they go live on air, and they're like, oh, don't say it's bad though, just say it's happening. You know? And so you see Zuckerberg have this huge, huge data center that's gonna decimate everything around it, you know, and why? Like truly why? I don't think we know. We're watching these people, we're watching 5 companies basically prop up the S&P 500. S&P 500 is made of, I think, 500 companies. Make no mistake, without those 5 companies, the market would be correcting. It would be wherever it is supposed to be because of how the other companies are doing, which is how most companies are doing, which means it's how most of America is doing. But we've propped it up with these 5 companies. These 5 companies have gone all in on AI, and they've gone all in on AI in a way that functionally does not make sense. You know, you look at Sam Altman, another candidate for person. You know what I mean? Like Sam Altman only looks confused when you ask him a moral question. No, it's crazy. It's crazy. Look, all right, I shouldn't even really talk about this, but it was wild. I watched Tucker Carlson interview Sam Altman, and Tucker Carlson kind of implied, he was like, hey, there was that OpenAI whistleblower who basically said that y'all were violating copyright law and stealing a bunch of information and everything, and then he died mysteriously. What do you think about that? It's weird to watch Tucker Carlson unleashed on somebody you hate. It's like when the bulldog that you've been scared of in your neighborhood your whole life finally bites your bully. You're kind of like... They seem to be canceling each other out right now. I guess if he was going to bite anybody, it's good that it's him. And you see Sam Altman like clam up. Here's the thing. I am not saying, can I be 100% with y'all? Can I be really honest with y'all? I am not saying at all that Sam Altman had anything to do with that young man's death. I am saying that interview didn't not make it look like it though. Like that. I try my best not to judge people because sometimes I don't even know what I'm gonna react like or do next in a certain scenario, right? And I think too often what we do to people is we say, I know they did this thing because of this thing, right? But all I'm saying is when you watch the interview, here's the thing. If I didn't like someone, right? I would be like, what? What kind of accusation is that? What are you trying to say? He asks him, and Sam is like, better start saying words soon. One of two things needs to happen in the next millisecond. Either you need to start saying, profusely that you had nothing to do with this and like you need to really stake your claim that like you had nothing to do with this and you're maybe even very upset by the line of questioning or something. Or if you are a robot, now would be a good time for your face to like open up like Men in Black style and have like a little alien be like, how dare you, right? Like that would be great. Because this, you know what I mean? Like, you didn't get caught cheating. This is asking you about murder, right? No. None of that. Just a lot of like, it was very sad and we, actually, no, I was just, it's just, I don't even know how to react because I've never been accused. And then Tucker quickly goes, I'm not accusing you of anything. He's like, Tucker be like, I'm not, hey. Tucker act like he on a roller coaster at his own interview. What? What? No, I'm not. That's concerning, right? That's someone could beg the question, right? And then, look, to be fair, I didn't watch the entire interview. Maybe he came out with a very convincing answer 20 minutes later. But the substantial portion that I watched didn't look great. And I don't know. We have OpenAI with Sora, with ChatGPT, we have these large language models that are basically meant to take us to like the next level, and it doesn't seem like they're doing that. It just doesn't seem to be the case that it's taking us to what was promised, right? We were promised almost a higher consciousness. We were promised to be able to do our jobs with ease. And then in the backdoor deals, companies were promised that they'd be able to fire all of us. You know what I mean? There were always two simultaneous pitches. One, the pitch to us was like, this is going to improve your life. It's going to make you more efficient. It's going to be faster. It's going to get rid of menial tasks. The pitch to our bosses was like, he'll be out of here in like 3 months. Come on, man. And so far, AI is failing on both those fronts, because we aren't elevated to some new form of consciousness. If anything, AI is giving people psychosis. Plenty of people have AI psychosis and becoming like more normal quicker than people are realizing it's happening. And here's a good test of the psychosis, right? If they talk to the AI like a friend, that's it. Did they name it? Is it called ChatGPT, but they called it Clarence? Then yes. They're in it now. If you're here and you're like, don't talk about Jan like that, you need to break loose. I pray for healing in your life, that you can break the psychosis. Because these large language models, they are imitations of what it would be like to connect with a person. It's not connecting with a person. It's doing an imitation of a person. And it's doing a better imitation of a person than we've seen so far. Even Zuckerberg can't touch the level of imitation of a person. This is why people think they're talking to a friend. And the understanding is that AI is going to destroy the planet. It needs so much energy to make a video of Pikachu pulling a cop over. The actual model, like you look at Sora, right? Because they just released Sora, and it can do all these things. It can like make Martin Luther King rap or whatever. Like it can do all of these like very weird things that nobody asked for. And apparently, every single one of those things costs OpenAI $5 to make. So like when people are just playing around on the thing and they're just like, look, I made Bob Ross high five Gandhi, $5. All right? So they are burning through money. We don't have a sustainable system for the energy. So why keep doing this thing? The theory is that they are doing it because they believe that when they get there, this thing will essentially be some sort of like all-knowing, all-understanding, thinking further, thinking light years ahead of us. It'll basically be God, right? And if they could like own God, then maybe they will be like a God, right? Because you'll basically have the company. You'll have the company that tells you every move to make in the market to own other companies, every move to make to protect yourself from other companies that are come after you. You would be done. You would be, you know what I mean? And that's terrifying. That's a terrifying idea, that not only that someone would want that, but that they would barrel towards it at the risk of burning up the planet, of taking up all of the water, like it's an insatiable need for like power, for control, for influence. And then you watch the news and you see that these same people, these people that don't even know how to act like people, spend millions of dollars on a yacht that is basically a bucket. It's a bucket. It is. That's how you know they don't know anything. This is what you spent the money on, knucklehead.
Mira.